Charlie Chaplin made a movie about Hitler where he played Hitler, the Great Dictator, right? 1940, which
One of the greatest speeches ever made by
I'm
certainly by a fictional politician, probably one of the great speeches ever made by a politician.
I know what you're talking about. If people don't remember the movie because it's 1940, Hitler was on the rise, but the war hadn't brought us in yet. It was starting in Europe. I mean, came out in 1940, so the war started in September of 39. Maybe when they shot this movie, that'd be an interesting question. Was World War II started?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. In fact,
because Hitler was certainly famous enough to be.
And you know that the original bone that Charlie Chaplin had to pick with Hitler,
They were born the same year.
Hitler stole his mustache.
Yeah. Yep. And ruined it for the rest of us.
Because he was a fan.
Is that true?
Yeah. He was a fan of Chaplin, and then Chaplin, what an incredible
Now,
speech.
I know okay, so this is interesting you mentioned that because you and I don't have exactly the same politics. People should watch this speech. It is amazing. But anyway, most of the movie, Chaplin is
especially now AI, the robot men, all of what it's as if yesterday.
it's a socialist
Machine
cry.
Man.
Okay, no, I don't remember it.
No, it's a humanist cry. It's not a socialist cry.
You know what? I haven't seen it in years. Let me tell people what it is. Most of the movie, he plays Hitler, basically. I mean, it's funny. There's
the Great Dictator.
The great scene where he's like lying on his back and he's kicking a ball, which is the globe of the world, but it's a balloon up in the air. And I mean, he's that much in charge. But he also plays this other part where he's the guy who makes the speech at the end. And it's like a 10-minute paean to like the world that could be if the workers would unite and all that kind of stuff. Now, again, I haven't seen it in years. My memory of it is that it was a little too socialist for my taste, but that it was.
See it again and text me.
I will.
Yeah,
I absolutely will.
But everybody should see that, and
you should see it just for the
purely humanist and so prescient. I mean,
maybe it is.
It's so
maybe
right now.
Maybe that is exactly what it is, but. It's certainly ideal.
It's certainly they can just YouTube the speech. It's
famous,
available.
It's certainly idealistic, though, right? I mean, it's utopian.
Yes, but not unlike Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot, where if only and I agree with you there in the sense that Jose Pepe Mujica, the former president of Uruguay, who was the most compelling head of state, the most incredible man.
Uruguay? Never heard of this dude.
There's a thing called...
when?
So he died a few weeks ago, but he was. I got to know him through working on behalf of Haiti in partnership with Uruguay.
You have every South American leader on speed dial. I know you do.
But what he said.
I don't know why you do.
One of the things he says in this the Human Project is portraits of different people from different walks of life. In his case, a former head of state or president at the time, and he is interviewed for about 20 minutes and. These are great. It's a great show, The Human Project, and Mujica is talking at one point about this idea that we have it drummed into us worldwide that if we don't study history, it's bound to repeat itself, and he doesn't believe that because, and he really put our words to something that I've always felt. He says that he says in the first person, I don't idealize human beings like this. We will stub our toe on the same pebble 30 times. We only ultimately learn anything from our own experience. And we are bound to repeat it. And then we can process what we repeated by looking back. That's the value of history.
Mm.
And I think that's true. And so we will repeat it. And this is what's sort of frightening and what that denial thing in us. Even friends of ours, There were there's moments I've had like this where, you just feel that this moment is the, screaming that this is the moment. Other times you say it's going to heal, it's going to be okay, and somewhere in between is we don't know, but we have to be proactive about it, right? Whether it's climate or it's and Mujica really talks about it with such great articulation. It's he was like a poet of political thought, and so is it too socialist, the Charlie Chaplin speech, or is it at the heart of something that is an ideal that we should not necessarily associate ourselves with, other than to admire and work towards it, not one that we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
And yes, so if you
Okay.
let the practical get involved in a lot of things that people would call socialist and things like that, I am practical. I am practical enough to know that I believe we are not past the moment where we need to manufacture weapons. Well, that's not idealistic,
You're right.
right? And we need militaries, and we need strong militaries. That's not idealistic.
No, that's practical. That's good.
But should we not do our
America.
little bit each generation to move towards the
Yeah, of course.
possibility of one day evolving to the point where we can embrace
Yes,
it?
I'm not going to argue with you about that at all. What I am going to ask you about, though, is, I mean, Uruguay. I feel like that one slipped off my radar, and I feel like among most people you're going to talk to, I do have a knowledge of what's going on around the world, but that one, Uruguay, I got to say, they need a better publicist. They have a low profile. We're talking about the country wedged between the giants of Argentina and
Correct.
Brazil.
That's right.
Montevideo, I believe, is the
And they've
capital.
got that beautiful resort beach that all the wealthy Argentinians
I'm sure
go
they
to.
do, and I'm sure you had a girlfriend there
I
in
was never there. I was only
1991.
in Montevideo. I was
Oh.
only in the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure you will have a girlfriend there.
Oh,
Anyway.
no. I'm by Moldova.
Oh, yeah, Moldova. Moldova, the last country on earth that John didn't have a girlfriend from. That's why she's the last one, because Moldova is literally the last. After that, it's just like the Vanuatu.
Very famous for
It's just an island in the
wine-
Pacific that's
wine
disappearing.
drinkers.
What?
It's very famous for wine drinkers. It has
Moldova?
it has a huge catacomb.
Isn't Moldova really Romania?
No, Moldova's Moldova, but they speak Romanian.
Okay, but like it's just sort of like the eastern sliver of Romania, is it not? Is it, if it's Romanian people and they speak Romanian? I mean, it's like if California was its own country, and many
Or
people think it
or
is.
if Canada was ours.
Yeah, you didn't see that coming. You got to admit that, did you? With Trump?
Only, and I said, and I still do say to myself aloud every day, whatever you don't expect, it's happening. And it's going